You've seen Marvel and DC comics more times than you've hugged your dad, and you're probably sick and tired of seeing these goofy donkey stories, which means it's time to mix up the comic book air fryer and whip out a story from a different universe. And no, it's not miraculous ladybugs, but it's this 30-year-old Uber driver loser who wants to be a writer, but instead he plays with black holes in the Radiant Black comic series. So this Wattpad story begins with Nathan Burnett being at $38,000 in credit card debt. That's right, this default me character has the anal sphincter of debt, which is why he's an Uber driver right now. But even after knowing that he is more broke than shattered glass, Mini Mentor here is still asking for a few $1,000s in loans in hopes of funding his writing career, and he starts blabbering like a clownfish about how he has so many stories just cooking and sizzling on the barbecue, and once he gets them published, he'll get a book deal and have more money than toilet paper and pay off all his loans. But then he gets an uppercut of reality and is told no loan is going to be given to him, and he just has to stick to Ubering more bobbleheads. But it looks like things went so downhill because it's reached a point where he has to move back home with his parents, and obviously both of their parents were really happy to see him back because his mom got his baby boy back home, and his father was proven right that his son's writing career would flop. But anyways, Nathan's friend Marshall pops out of the comic book butthole, welcomes him back home, and asks if he wants to hang out for the night and grab some drinks. So after getting permission from his parents like a good little boy scout, they go out for drinks where Marshall hears the news that he's in crippling debt. And Nathan continues his barking where he says that he has this novel that he's writing, and his one agent is waiting for it and he could get him a huge book deal. But what's concerning is that his parents don't even know that he's in debt because his parents are in no position to help Nathan, and if his dad finds out, he's gonna be more furious than someone getting scammed of Belle Delphine's bathwater with just vodka. So they try thinking of a solution, but like doing a group project in school, no progress gets made and they just start drinking. But eventually the dinner date was done and they were going to go to their car until all of a sudden they saw a black hole in the distance. So they decided to walk to it, examine it, and then eventually touch it. But when Nathan grabbed onto this big black hole, it started to consume him and immediately give him a new Met Gala outfit. And both Marshall and Nathan were amazed by this new look, but they were gonna have to hold onto their bladders and prepare to shit themselves because the cops are here and telling these young bucks to get off of the train tracks. And this is where things get kooky because Marshall is drunk out of his mind to the point where he just refuses to leave the tracks. But also he's just deaf and blind because there's a train approaching them, and this donut, this brainless sack of condoms, is not listening to the cops because the train is a Smurf's dick away from them. So unconsciously, Nathan just pushes Marshall, lifts up the cops and the entire train, and saves everyone. But these goobers just had to get out of here, so the boys flew away, put down the cops and the train, and landed on a building. So right now they're just trying to process everything, but how Nathan's powers work is by simply thinking. So for example, if he wants the helmet to come off, he just has to think about it coming off. But right now, after everything that's happened tonight, Marshall is just tired because he feels like he's wasted his time trying to be a writer, especially considering that this Borat hasn't even started his book. But now he has these new powers and he doesn't want to waste this gift, and he better not, because far away there was a little explosion that occurred at a bank from someone who looks just like Nathan, but this time he's on his period. But anyways, it's the next day and Nathan is still trying to figure out how his powers fully function, but he has no time to think about this right now because there's someone at the door, and it's the cops from yesterday on the train tracks. And Nathan was worried about getting thrown in the slammers, and things were made even worse when his mom just showed up. But it turns out things were more giddy than an Animal Crossing game because the cops were here to thank Nathan for saving them and told him that they could use someone with his powers to help people, especially considering that there's this period man out and about and it's causing global destruction such as robbing banks. But the thing is that he doesn't want to help because he doesn't know how to use his powers properly. So the cops just leave him and threaten him by saying that if he doesn't learn, they'll beat him up and force him to watch James Corden. So at this point they had to figure out where this guy was. So after doing a little bit of Blue's Clues work, he found out that Red Radiant was in a junkyard. So he grabbed his Pokeball, suited up, and came across Red Radiant. And Nathan tries to be friendly and asks how he got his powers and that maybe they should just team up and, you know, not do something childish like robbing banks. But Red Radiant's nipples were twisted to the point where he got offended and he sent him to the ground, threw a car at him, kneed him in the chin, broke his visor, and walked away. But to make matters worse, when Nathan got up, he saw Red Radiant take his Hot Wheels toy, drive at super speed, and was about to chuck it off the side of the road. So Nathan, with his power of thinking, tried to lift his car back up. And with the power of multitasking, he used his noodle to grab the bags of money and pull it off Red. And after clenching his butt cheeks for long enough, he finally lifted his Mario Kart safely and got the money back. But it turns out Nathan got a lot of Krabby Patties in these sacks, and this can really help him with his debt, but the sad reality is that he knows that this is wrong, and he'll look more evil than the people who have a speaker on their backpack and use it, so he decides to go back to the bank and return his Lucky Charms cereal. And yeah, that's it. Bye.